All right. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Matt Moda here with another NBA live stream of Fast Break Bets presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Live up until going through the first round of the NBA playoffs every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Giving up picks for every single game. It's a little bit gross as the NBA regular season comes to an end. But once the playoffs start, we're hopefully going to be able to preview every single game. I'll do the stream on Monday. Presumably, I'll be able to preview Tuesday's games as well because odds will be out early. But anyways, as for today, another massive slate. We've had like 11, 12, and 12 game slates on these Monday, Wednesday, Friday streams, which is good because you have a ton of games to go over. I'm going to have a pick for 10 of the 12 games. I'm passing as of right now on 76ers Cavs and Blazers Heat. Just look at the injury report and you throw up in your mouth a little bit. So I didn't want to play anything in that. If you do really want to play those two games specifically, I would just recommend checking out the BettingPros app, the cheat sheet. And as we get injury clarity as the day goes on, you can probably lock some stuff in. Obviously, we'll end the show with the same game parlay as well. Last stream was fine. We were a little bit down, mostly broke even. I think we were down like 0.27 units to be exact on the three plays that we gave out. We're basically breaking even for the entire year on these streams. We're down less than a unit. We're so close to getting back in the green after what was a brutal cold streak in the middle of the season. So very, very confident and hopeful that we get ourselves into the green on these streams. As always, make sure to subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel if you are not already. And then I posted in the chat as well. Get all those questions, all those comments, all those anythings in the chat. The more fun these streams are is when it's able to be as interactive as possible. And I'm going through the picks while answering your guys' questions as well. So Jalen Gauss, who's ready for some more bangers? Hashtag thanks, Matt. Hopefully today's a good day. Jimmy Jack hearing Curry is hurt, playing through it. Unders for Curry still. I had not heard that. So I do not have an under for Curry for the play today. And then Mike Lowry with the fire emoji. But I mean, the first game we're talking about is the Warriors versus Hornets. I had not seen anything about Steph being hurt, so maybe this is a little bit square. But the play that we have here, I actually am taking Steph's and I'm taking his over points. I'm just leaving it as a lean because these teams like the Hornets, who just really like Brandon Miller's trying, Miles Bridges is kind of trying, but they're just such a tanktastic team that's really hard to handicap, which is why I left it as a lean. I do admit that this one is a little bit risky because of the blowout potential, but I really do like the Steph angle, right? The Warriors, they don't have the option to rest guys. Like we saw the Celtics basically not care for 2 straight games against the Hawks because they already locked up the 1 seed. The Warriors, they don't have that option. They're literally 1 game ahead of the Rockets for the 10 seed in the West, and the Rockets have won 10 straight. And the Rockets have another easy matchup tonight against the Jazz. So the Warriors are not even in danger of missing the play-in or the playoffs. They literally might not even make the play-in, which would be a disaster at the end of Steph Curry's career. So even with the potential that this game turns into a blowout, like the Warriors, they don't have the option to take games off like other teams do. And if Steph Curry is hurt, then his recent results would make sense. But it's kind of funny because normally when you figure like the Warriors games, they live and die based on what Steph does. The Warriors have actually won 2 straight, and Steph scored 17 points in each of those 2 games. So I do like this as a fade of recent results because he's gone under the past 2 games. I do think we're getting a little bit of a discount on Steph. Prior to these last 2 games, he scored 25 or more points in 4 of the previous 5 games. So some books have it at 23.5, but it's so heavily juiced towards the over that I think the better value is getting it over 24.5, again at the -109 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. I think it's a good play. If he's got some sort of injury that we don't know about, then it would end up not being as great. And I just hear a message from the producer, not seeing any Steph Curry news. So I think we should be good from an injury perspective. And again, I like the play. It's just at the end of the regular season, some of these games just turn into just a total nightmare from a betting perspective within like the first half. So anyways, that's our first play. Next up, Lakers versus Pacers, a game that should be good. Anthony Davis, I'm taking him over 39.5 points plus rebounds, -115 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. So as of right now, Anthony Davis, like he has every other injury report, is listed as questionable. I do think that this one is more questionable than his normal injury reports because he played 52 minutes. I think that was Tuesday. And maybe it was, I forget. He played 52 minutes in his last game, the double OT game against the Bucks. But he's had a couple of days off since then. So hopefully he's recovered from that. But if it gets ruled out, then we just get this play refunded. And if he plays, he's going to be healthy because the Lakers are kind of like the Warriors and they don't have the option to take games off. So for this play, this was a juicy 5-star positive expected value play that I found using the BettingPros app and the cheat sheet. They project Anthony Davis to have over about 43.1, so just over 43 combined points plus rebounds. Really good play from that perspective. They give him a 70.3% chance that he goes over this number. And I really like this matchup for Anthony Davis, both from a points and a rebounds separately perspective. So I think it makes sense to combine the two. I think both of them individually have blow up potential. So if one misses, like let's say he doesn't hit his points, he could have 20 plus rebounds. Let's say he only has 10 rebounds. He could score 30 plus points. So that's why I liked combining the two. Last time these two teams played, only 5 days ago, Anthony Davis scored 36 points and he had 16 rebounds. Normally, I like to fade recent results. I'm not doing that in this case because I wouldn't be surprised if he had another blow-up game. It's just such a good matchup. All year, the Pacers have had no resistance for guys going to the rim. Anthony Davis, his jump shot has failed him recently, but he's still an amazing player going to the rim. Pick and rolls with LeBron, isoing at the elbow. Getting to the rim is still something that he does really well. And then from a rebound perspective, so you want to take center rebound props against teams that shoot a high frequency of their shots close to the rim. I'm measuring it as within 5 feet of the basket. That's the measurement that NBA.com gives you. For jump shot shooting teams, you want to target guard rebounds. The Pacers, over the past 10 games, literally have taken the highest frequency of shots within 5 feet of the basket. Because of that fact, they have given up a ton of rebounds to centers recently. 4 straight centers have gone over their rebound prop against the Pacers, and 5 of 6 as well. That includes last game against the Bulls. Both centers, the backup and the starter, Drummond and Vucevic, both went over the rebound prop against the Pacers. Wouldn't be surprised if it was Anthony Davis and Jackson Hayes doing that again tonight. But because he could also score 30 plus points, I like adding the two together, points plus rebounds. That's our second play. Next up, Clippers versus Magic. GC was looking up an alted line for Cam Thomas assists. I forget who. Someone that I respect I saw was on Cam Thomas assists. That's not where I'm going with the Bulls-Nets game. But I think that's a good play. Like I said, I've seen people on that. Pascal went under 8.5 rebounds last game. Same for tonight. I don't know a lot about the matchup for Pascal Siakam and his rebounds based on where the Lakers shoot from. That's not something that I looked at. If you like it, then hit it. That's kind of my philosophy. If you like it, hit it. All right, next game, Clippers Magic. I'm taking James Harden under 15.5 points, minus 125 odds at DraftKings. I believe that's still the most up-to-date. Actually, wow, it dropped to 14.5 at minus 105, as you can see on the screen here. I would still take that, to be honest. I love fading Harden in this matchup. It's a really tough matchup against the Magic, and it's the game after this emotional barely won against the Sixers in Philadelphia, where Harden still has beef with Daryl Morey, and he hasn't talked to Joel Embiid. Not like Harden blew up in that game. He played well. He went over his point total. He went over his assist total. He played well overall. And even if it wasn't like they just played the Sixers, I just think this is a tough matchup individually for James Harden against the Magic. There are types of players that the Magic struggle against. It's like jitterbug, quick twitched, quick trigger, another word I'm looking for, guards. They can score a lot against the Magic, but Harden, as good as he is, and he runs a lot of pick and rolls, he's slow, he's deliberate with his movements, everything is thought out. And the Magic defense, they're just going to swarm him and they're just going to eat that up. So with that thought in mind, the Magic are allowing the 5th fewest points per game to Harden's shooting profile and the 9th fewest to his scoring profile. So yeah, it's not like they're number one. That was the hardest matchup in both categories, but still a difficult one. And at this point in his career, scoring is just not the way. It's not nearly as easy to come by for Harden as it was back in like 2017, 2018, 2019. So I like fading Harden in this matchup from a points perspective. That's our third play. And yeah, Jordan, I would still play it at 14.5. All right. 3 picks down, a ton to go. Before we get into our next pick, I want to talk to you about DraftKings Sportsbook, the sportsbook you see up on the screen here. I know we're talking about the NBA, but the thrill and excitement of March Mania is here. And DraftKings Sportsbook, one of America's top-rated sportsbook apps, is giving new customers a shot to turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets with any college basketball bet. UConn looks like they're just going to waltz to another title this year. If you want to get a future play on them, you can at DraftKings Sportsbook. Again, you can turn $5 into 150 bonus dollars, or excuse me, $150 instantly in bonus bets. All you need to do, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app, use promo code Fantasy Pros that you see on the screen. I believe it's on the screen here. If not, it's promo code Fantasy Pros. Again, new customers can turn $5 into $150 instantly in bonus bets at DraftKings Sportsbook with promo code Fantasy Pros. The crown is yours. All right, next game. This might be the grossest game in terms of the two teams. This was my favorite game from a betting perspective. Pistons versus Wizards. There were so many angles that I liked in this one. Somehow, a Pistons-Wizards game was my favorite, but this is the game that I'm going to have my same game parlay on. But the official play is Cade Cunningham over 7.5 assists, minus 106 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. Zana, going pretty well. Appreciate you for tuning in. So those of you that are not new to these streams and to watching me with my NBA plays, there are a lot of different matchups that I like to target. One of those matchups is point guard assists against the Wizards. It's been very fruitful over the course of the entire season. It still, to this day, remains fruitful, despite the fact that the Wizards have a skeleton crew in their lineup, as do the Pistons. Both these teams are just waiting for the season to end. Although the Wizards have been playing hard, I'll give them credit. But the Wizards, on the entire season, are allowing the second most assists per game to point guards. If you look specifically into Cade Cunningham's playmaking style, the Wizards allow the fourth most assists per game to how Cade playmakes. I also like this as a fade of recent results. Cade's missed this in his past two games, including a pretty gross 2-assist game against the Timberwolves. That's the toughest matchup in the NBA. The other game that he missed, the game prior to the Timberwolves one, he was going up against the Celtics, another tough defense. Prior to that 2-game stretch in which he's gone under in this past 2 games, he had gone over 7.5 assists in 7 of his last 8 games prior to this 2-game stretch. So he had been crushing his assist number, and then he went up against 2 tough defenses and went under. I think it's a great time to buy back in on Cade. Right now he's listed as questionable due to injury management. He's been playing through the questionable tag the last couple games recently. Again, if he gets ruled out, we just get this one refunded and we're good to go. But the last time these two teams played, Cade had 12 assists on 18 potential assists. I wouldn't be shocked if he did something similar tonight. Like if you want to get 10 plus assists at plus 300 odds, that would be a juicy ladder play. But I like this one. People love betting the Wizards. People call me a madman. Same. I mean, when you find an angle, just stick to it. All right, next up, Bulls versus Nets. I'm taking Cam Thomas, 3+ made 3-pointers, plus 150 odds at DraftKings. I did look at the Betting Pros cheat sheet, kind of a positive expected value play for them, for their perspective, I should say. They project Cam to have over 2.5 3-pointers, not like 2.8 is the exact number of their projection. So yeah, it's not quite the 3 number we need it for him to make. It's above 2.5. So more often than not, he gets 3. And for plus 150 odds, like that value is really good for someone that's projected almost to hit the number that we're taking him at. And another matchup play here. You're going to sense a theme with a lot of my picks. I just like to target matchups. The Bulls defense is among the worst at guarding the 3-point line. Like they've been a team we've targeted for 3-point props a lot recently. And it's similar to the Wizards with point guards. It's come through more often than not. And I also love this as a spot play for Cam Thomas. He's been playing really well recently. It's like, this is perfect for Cam Thomas. The games don't matter. He can just get buckets and nobody cares. He scored 38 points against the Wizards, but he only hit 2 3-pointers in that game because the way the Wizards play defense, they just allow anybody to score going to the rim. They guard the 3-point line pretty tightly. The Bulls are like the polar opposite. They pack the paint. They don't allow a ton of points in the paint, but because of that, they give up a ton of points and a ton of attempts from 3-point range. They're listed as the 5th best matchup in the NBA when it comes to shooting guard 3-point props. That measures like what the actual over-unders are against the defense and then how often players go over. So I give this example all the time, but like Steph Curry, his over-under 3-pointers might be 5.5. If he hits 5 3-pointers, that's a lot from a normal person, but that's still an under in terms of his props. That's kind of why I like not only looking at what defenses give up just in raw totals, but also compared to their over-under as well. There's just a bunch of different ways to look into stuff. And anyways, I know that was kind of a long triangle. Triangle might not be a word, but you know what I mean. So anyways, they're listed as the 5th best matchup in the NBA. And as always, you want to look into why. And this isn't even looking at the whole season. This is looking at recently. The last 10 games, the Bulls defense is still not good at guarding the 3-point line. They're allowing the most corner 3-point attempts in the NBA over the past 10 games, and the 9th most above the break 3-point attempts. And that above the break number is down a little bit recently. Like if you looked at like 5 to 15 games ago, that span, they would have been higher. But the fact that they're top 10 in both categories, normally defenses funnel shots to one of those locations, right? Either the corner or above the break. They're bad against both. And Cam Thomas had a nice stretch where he cashed 3 or more 3-pointers in 3 straight games. Since then, he's only done it in 1 of 7, which is the perfect time to buy back in on him making a bunch of 3-pointers in a good matchup. So for a plus 150 dart throw, I think this one's really good. Next 2 games that I have on the list here are the 2 games that I'm passing on. Sixers versus Cavaliers. Is Donovan Mitchell playing? I don't want to bet on that until I know. And then Triangle so my producer just messaged me. Triangle is a type of winter squash or pumpkin that originated in Australia during the early years of settlement. I don't know what I was trying to say when I said triangle, but hopefully you guys understood it anyways. And then the next game that I'm also skipping is Blazers versus Heat. The whole Heat team is listed on the injury report. Now they're probable. So yeah, they're probably going to play. I'd rather have that confirmation. So, all right, we're about halfway done. We have 5 games left to go. We will have a pick in all 5. Before I get into the next one, I want to talk to you about a 1-year premium subscription giveaway. If you want a chance to win a premium 1-year subscription to Betting Pros, it's your place to start betting smarter, not harder. All you need to do is subscribe to the Betting Pros YouTube channel and then comment below on this video. You do those 2 things, that's how you can be entered. A winner will be announced right here on this channel, so make sure to turn notifications on so you can be alerted when new episodes drop. And then you can come in and claim your prize. 1-year premium subscription giveaway. Comment, subscribe, good to go. Diatribe. Yes, thank you. Diatribe. That's what I was looking for. Anyways, Zana asking about during rebounds is a system play. Yeah, he does. Foul trouble is a scary spot for him. So, sneak preview, I do like his rebounds today as well. All right. Next game that we're going to talk about should have been a really good game, but it's Suns versus Thunder, but SGA is listed as doubtful, and Nurkic is listed as questionable. It's kind of a bummer. Not that Nurkic, he's not one of their big 3, of course, but you would still like for these teams to have their normal guys. So Suns versus Thunder, the official play that we're going to have here is Chet Holmgren over 1.5 made 3-pointers. This one is offered at minus 115 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. I just need confirmation that Nurkic is playing. If Nurkic does get ruled in, then I'm going to upgrade this to a full unit play because I love this one. It's another matchup play against the Suns. The Suns, whether it is Yusuf Nurkic or whether it is Bol Bol, who's been playing a lot of minutes for them, they want to have their centers stick close to the basket. They don't want to have them guarding the perimeter, which means stretch bigs like Chet can get up a ton of 3-pointers against the Suns. Over the past 30 days, they're allowing the 3rd most made 3-pointers, specifically to centers, which makes sense because you look at the matchups. Al Horford hit 6 against them. Brook Lopez hit 2. His over-under was 1.5. Mo Bamba hit a 3-pointer against them. His over-under was 0.5. And I like this as another situation where we do get to fade recent results. Chet had a stretch where he had cashed 2 or more 3-pointers in 4 of his last 5 games, or in 4 of 5 games, but now he's missed it in 3 straight. Last time these 2 teams played, he did not hit 2 3-pointers. The game prior to that, he went 3 of 6 from deep. And just based on how the Suns are going to guard the Thunder, even with SGA out, maybe that means even a higher usage rate for Chet, or it's probably going to go to maybe Jalen Williams. But either way, the way that the Suns play defense matches up with Chet Holmgren shooting 3-pointers. It burned us last night with Brook Lopez. He went 1 of 4 from deep, 1 of 5. But all you can do is just play the matchups. Hopefully it works out for us in this play tonight. Next up, Knicks versus Spurs game. I'm taking Jalen Brunson over 6.5 assists, minus 122 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. It's kind of funny. The Knicks have been just so banged up with injuries. Brunson has been a steady presence throughout that. And even amid all the injuries that the team's had, like Mitchell Robinson's back, but OG Anunoby is out again with an elbow injury. Julius Randle is still out. He's actually done a really good job, Brunson has, as a playmaker. Now, I will admit for this play, we're not fading recent results. Brunson has gone over 6.5 assists in 4 of his last 5 games, but I still do think we're getting somewhat of a discount just because of how banged up guys are for the Knicks. Like teams or books don't know what to do with Brunson because like who's going to play? But he's been getting a bunch of assists, and I like this. Unsurprisingly, I like this matchup against the Spurs. The Spurs allow a ton of assists to point guards that can run a lot of pick and rolls. Jalen Brunson, this is on the entire season because for whatever reason, NBA.com doesn't let you filter for a time frame based on this tracking data, which whatever. But on the entire season, if you look at players who have played enough minutes to qualify, Jalen Brunson runs the 4th most pick and roll possessions per game in the entire NBA, the 4th most. The Spurs are tied with the Pistons for allowing the most points per game to pick and roll rollmen. So if Brunson runs a lot of pick and rolls and the Spurs allow a lot of points to pick and roll rollmen, that means a lot of potential assists from Brunson running pick and rolls, whether it's Isaiah Hartenstein, whether it's Mitchell Robinson, who's back, whether it's running a pick and roll, then kicking it out to a shooter, which, that won't get, obviously is not points to a roll man. That's an assist for Brunson if that happens. But giving up points to pick and roll rollmen, that's most likely an assist. Whoever's running the pick and roll as a ball handler. That's Brunson, who's probably going to run a ton in this game. So I love this one. Brunson over 6.5 assists. Pretty sure they give up a lot of threes from the top of the three. I'd assume they leave Giddey open and probably look into it if SGA is ruled out. I wanted to look into Giddey or Jalen Williams was another two that I wanted to look into, but I like to play for Chet as well, but that is good information. So, all right, couple picks left to go. Now I want to talk to you about the Betting Pros Discord. If you are looking to up your game in sports betting, look no further than the exclusive sports betting Discord community at bettingpros.com/chat. In the Discord, Betting Pros has gathered a team of expert handicappers providing you with free picks during whatever season, whatever sport's going on during that time frame. So right now, ton of March Madness stuff. Opening day was just yesterday for baseball. Ton of baseball stuff. Futures, player props, live betting, whatever you want, whatever you need from a sports betting perspective, you can find in the Discord. Get in on the action, connect with like-minded sports betting enthusiasts, elevate your own betting strategy by gaining insights from the pros, but join us in the Discord today. Take your sports betting experience to the next level. 3 picks to go, and Maurice Walker likes Brunson points plus assists. That makes sense if he's running a ton of pick and rolls and they're not letting him get the passes off. They're just playing him one-on-one. It could be a scoring game. I only looked at the assists, or I'm only playing the assists, but I don't think that adding the points is a bad play either. All right, 3 more picks to go. Then we have our same game parlay in the electric Pistons versus Wizards game. Our next pick, Timberwolves versus Nuggets. We're taking Anthony Edwards over 5.5 assists, plus 118 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. So Anthony Edwards, not known for his passing. He's known for his dunks. He's known for just being a stone cold killer in some fourth quarters, especially last year in the playoffs. Even though they lost, he was awesome. Edwards has quietly been a pretty good playmaker recently. And I'm not sure that this is something that the NBA hardos haven't quite caught up to yet, unless you're watching a ton of games or you're just looking at recent stats like I am. But Edwards has hit 6 or more assists in 4 of his last 8 games, which a 50% hit rate doesn't sound great. Granted, a 50% hit rate at plus 118 odds is pretty good, but in 3 of the games that he missed, 3 of the 4 games that he missed, he had exactly 5 assists, which would be a bummer, but it is close. And in the other game, he had 4. So when he's not getting 6 or more assists, he's at least getting close. That shows me that the floor is there for this play for Anthony Edwards. Last game that he played less than 30 minutes, fewer than 30 minutes, and he still had 5 assists. So you can guess, obviously depends on how the game plays out, but you can guess with a full allotment of minutes, another 5, 6, 7 minutes, he gets another assist to cash this. And look at the matchup. It's Timberwolves versus Nuggets. It's 2 Titans of the West in terms of teams trying to get the 1 seed. They're like 1 game apart. A really important game for both of these teams, probably more for the Timberwolves and the Nuggets, who won the title last year, but still. Last time these 2 teams played, which was not that long ago, Edwards had 8 assists on 11 potential assists. For plus 118 odds, I absolutely love the odds that we're getting at this play. Let's see. With SGA out, Jay Will sees a 3-point assist bump, or sees a 3 assist bump and a giddy 4-point bump. So yeah, maybe those are some plays as well. I like the Chet one. I don't look into every possible matchup when I do these streams. There's some plays where like the Pistons one where there ends up being multiple angles that I like. But yeah, I mean, all those plays are pretty good. Space Cream, #Hardos. Dom. So yeah, I haven't done anything specifically on NBA yet, but I will. All right. Next up, Rockets versus Jazz. I'm taking Fred VanVleet, 10 plus assists, plus 125 odds at DraftKings. So earlier in this segment, I mentioned that the Wizards are allowing the second most assists per game to point guards. Guess who is allowing the most assists per game to point guards? That's right. That would be the Utah Jazz. Now, this one is going to feel gross for a couple reasons. I will admit that. Fred VanVleet has missed this in 3 straight games. One of the games that he missed was against the Jazz. And in that game, he only had 7 assists. But you need to look into that matchup a little bit. Number one, he played less than 28 minutes, fewer than. I always mix that up because that game was a complete and utter blowout. Now, that is always a potential. It could be another complete and utter blowout tonight. But more importantly, also in that game, Fred VanVleet made 10 3-pointers. Yeah, he made, not attempted, he made 10 3-pointers in that game. Even if this game turns into a blowout, there's no way he's going to come close to that type of 3-point volume. Just even if he gets the same exact shot profile, you're just not going to make 10 3-pointers that frequently. And he still had 7 assists in that game. So he played not a lot of playing time. He had a ton of 3-pointers, and he still got close with 7 assists. So I think we're getting really good odds, plus 125, as an opportunity to fade a recent results. Again, he's missed this in 3 straight. Prior to that, he had cashed 10 or more assists in 3 straight games. He's also done it, and he also did it in 4 of his previous 7 games prior to that. And twice in that span, he had 9 assists. So he had been crushing his assist number. He just hasn't been recently. Great opportunity for it to swing back. Lastly, last play of the slate, Mavericks versus Kings game. I'm taking Daniel Gafford over 1.5 assists, plus 145 odds per the Betting Pros consensus. So as the last play of the slate, it's also one of our spiciest plays as well, at least in terms of odds. I love this play. It's admittedly a little bit risky because we're looking at a small sample size here, but the Mavericks have quietly used Gafford a little bit more. They've given him a bigger role recently than just catching lobs. That's what his role was with the Wizards. It was just as a lob threat. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're like running their offense through him like a big man like Jokic or Sabonis. Of course not. But the pick and roll game that they're running with Luka, they're giving him the ball a lot as he's rolling to the basket. So he catches it. He can either go up and score, or he can dish it off for an easy assist. And that's a situation. He's been crushing it in that role recently, a little bit more than a lob threat. Like, again, small sample size, but look at his last 4 games. 3, 5, 5, 3 assists being used this type of way. Now, again, they're not running the offense through him at the elbow, but he could easily get another 2 assists in this exact same way. The Mavericks run a ton of pick and rolls. He's a great pick and roll partner with Luka. And the fact that they're giving him the ball on the roll instead of just as a lob means that he has more of an opportunity to play make. Not, again, that he's a very high-level playmaker, but it's easy to just dish it off if the 2 guys crowd him at the paint or kick it out to a shooter, something like that. I expect this to continue for Gafford. He cashed the over 1.5. He had 3 assists last game, despite playing fewer than 22 minutes. He normally plays around 25 with the Mavericks. And someone's saying the Kings are actually a solid interior defense. That's true. He just did this against the Kings. And again, less than 22 minutes of playing time. So I really like this spot for Gafford. I mean, the 1.5 assists, it's a crazy number at plus 145 odds. So I love it. That's our last official play. Now let's get into the same game parlay of the day. It's going to be plus 286 odds. It's going to be in the electric Pistons versus Wizards game. Leg number 1, we've already talked about Cade Cunningham assists over 7.5. Last game against the Wizards, he had 12. The Wizards allow a ton of assists to point guards. This one just makes sense. The next 2 are going to be correlated together and correlated with Cade as well. It's Jalen Duren over 10.5 rebounds and Jalen Duren 15 plus points. The Wizards allow a ton of rebounds to centers. They also allow a lot of points to centers as well. So Cade assisting to Duren cashes this bad boy, hopefully. Plus 286 odds, I think, is worth it for this 3-leg parlay. And that's it. That was our same game parlay of the day. If you are looking to build your own same game parlay, check out the Betting Pros Same Game Parlay Builder. You combine multiple bets within a single NBA game. You can leverage different insights that Betting Pros offers, like correlated bet recommendations, EV ratings if you're strictly just looking for the highest EV percent SGP. You can also look at cover probability to find plays that have the highest likelihood of hitting, much more. Perfect your betting strategy by analyzing Betting Pros' overall correlation grades and projections. Stay ahead of the curve by following same game parlays placed by fellow bettors via the app as well. Start building winning parlays today at bettingpros.com/parlay. And that's all we got. Amazing stream. I appreciate everybody that was commenting. I love when they're as interactive as possible. Let's hope we can cash some bangers today. Hope everybody has a good day today. Hope everybody has a good weekend, and I will catch you on Monday.